Greetings of hope. Today, 24 October 2024, marks the 77th year of the entry into force of the United Nations Charter. 77 years ago, as explained by the Secretary General António Guterres in his greetings for this year's anniversary, the United Nations was a product of hope following the resolution of the Second World War. The first lines of the Preamble of the United Nations Charter read, "We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has brought untold sorrow to mankind, and to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, in the equal rights of men and women and nations, large and small." 77 years ago, it was clear that the hope fostered by the United Nations is for succeeding generations to be saved from war and to be reaffirmed in the value of fundamental human rights and equality. I can only imagine that 77 years ago, after the tragedy of 2 world wars and millions of lives lost, the United Nations only had hope to cling on when they crafted the Charter. Today, the generations now alive are the very generations that the United Nations mentioned. 77 years later, during this anniversary of the United Nations, let us all celebrate the vast, sustained progress and social changes that followed since 24 October 1945. In a way, many have been spared the scourge of a world war. The dream of a society that fosters human rights and equality among men, women, and nations is not just a dream. In the best moments in our lifetimes, we have seen the fruits and progress envisioned in the United Nations Charter. But after 77 years, the work is not yet done. We are now seeing a looming global economic crisis and conflicts that threaten global peace when the world is just emerging from the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The financial crisis and conflicts have led to the displacement of many from their homes and country. The generations now alive owe it to the generations yet to come to fulfill and protect the goals embodied in the United Nations Charter. Let our organization be at the forefront of global cooperation in line with the purposes of the United Nations. To achieve the goals of the United Nations Charter, let us remember international inner wheel's tenet to foster true friendships and do so on a global scale. Let us also support the United Nations through Inner Wheel's consultative status in the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. Let us continue to work wonders and inspire hope among nations.